So here's a tool that is completely free. Now, believe me when I tell you, it is completely free. This is no catch. It's not some trial that you have to take. It's 100% free. You could do it right from your phone. You could do it from your computer, okay? You could pre-record it if you want. So you can use a free software such as Audacity, which is open source and works on both Mac and PC, to pre-record your episode, or you can use Anchor. Now, Anchor will automatically, okay, submit your podcast to Apple Podcasts, to Alexa, to Google Podcasts, to iTunes. It submits your podcast everywhere. You get unlimited free hosting. They have like sound effects and transitions that you can include. You can add segments, so you can like record a section that's segment one. Then you could do like a transition sound, and then you could do like a commercial. It's insane, all the stuff that you could do. You can record podcasts with friends. Okay, you can like let other people call in. So much stuff. You can monetize your podcast. Just let them know you're looking to monetize your podcast, and they will find people to pay you to advertise on your podcast. Okay, so there's so much that we could talk about, but let's just jump in here so that I could show you exactly what I'm talking about and how it's so much easier to do this. Okay, it's so much easier for you to do this than waste your time with trying to install, usually you have to pay for podcast hosting. And then you have to install a WordPress plugin that will allow you to create podcast episodes. And then, you have to connect that WordPress plugin to your podcast hosting. Then you have to go and you have to grab this RSS feed, which is complicated. You have to create a whole new category, which is just for your podcast. It's such a pain in the ass. And for what? You get stats, okay? You get stats. Now here's a new account that I just created, right? And I added my episodes. My episodes are still on my old hosting account, but I'm switching everything over to Anchor. And look, you can activate Anchor sponsorships. It says right here, want to get paid when people hear your podcast? Turn on Anchor sponsorships in one of your episodes to get started, okay? You could share it. You have a podcast profile that you can share with people, and this will have your episodes, right? I only added 5 of my episodes so far. I started to do this a few months back, but I just never finished. But I'm going to be finishing now. But right there are the first 3 episodes. Those are the ones to listen to if you want to go back and listen to them. But you can listen to these. But look, available on 11 platforms. 11 platforms. So if I come over here, right, and let me come back here. So let's see. Right here. So other, I don't even know where the other are coming from. But 58 listens because the episodes on my blog on Viralizers.com are not Anchor. They're not Anchor. They're still my old hosting account. So I'm not even sure where these came from. It must have been from what they've done. So Anchor, 1 person has listened to it on Anchor. 4 people have listened to it on Spotify. 6 plays have been on iOS. I mean, do you see this? This is insane, right? All you got to do, look, available on 11 platforms. So if we come over here and scroll down, where can your podcast be heard? Look at this. It's on Anchor, right? So it's anchor.fm. That's the website address, by the way, anchor.fm/Viralizers brings you to the Viralizers podcast, to that page we were just at. Apple Podcasts is right here. Google Podcasts is right here. Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Google Play Music. So it's in the Google Play Store. Overcast, Pocket Casts. It's in Radio Public. It's in Stitcher. Okay? And then look at this over here. Here's your RSS feed. So if you wanted to copy this, you can go and submit this anywhere that you want, right? Anywhere that you want. But it's automatically submitted to all of those places. Now look, if you've manually distributed your podcast to additional platforms, click here to paste in the links. So you can click there and you can paste in the additional places like Podbean, TuneIn. It's absolutely nuts. And if I'm not mistaken, it used to say that it'll show up in Alexa, on Amazon Alexa and other ones, but maybe I'm mistaken. but I don't think I am. I'm almost positive that it is. Include listener support link in your show notes. Customize your message to supporters. So right here, show optional sponsorship segments in all episodes. So you can add an additional segment to each episode for people that sponsor your podcast, right? To people that pay you money to listen to your podcast. So all you got to do to start is add an image for your cover art, or you can create it, right? They let you add text and build your own. You come up with a podcast theme, right? Which I did VIP, and I do each episode is VIP 001, VIP 002. But I call it VIP, which stands for Viralizer Insiders Podcast. And then over here, podcast description, you put a description, you choose a category. I choose business. You choose what you want after the, / anchor.fm / boom. What's your website? Your name. I always put my name, and then I put a pipe, and then I put Viralizers, and then my email address. Okay. Now, if we come over here to new episode, look, meet the Anchor episode builder. Ready to make your first episode? Upload an existing file or create an audio. Create any audio you want. Try recording with your friends. Ask listeners for voice messages or introducing your new podcast. Now, here's the cool thing. One day I recorded in something, right? And I was just fooling around, right? And I just started spitting out some content, and I was just fooling around. And I swear to you, I was like on my balcony in Miami, and I remember just sitting there on the balcony. It was like midnight or like 2 a.m, and I just said a bunch of stuff, and all of a sudden, boom, you start getting messages. Other people, listeners, can listen to your podcast, and they can start recording audio messages to send you. And they'll start, hey, what's up, Kevin? Thank you so much. That was an awesome episode. Welcome. What is it that you do? I was listening to what you were talking about. That sounds awesome, man. I would love to get involved. Blah, blah, blah. And it was like, I had 2 people send me messages like that within 5 minutes. And I was like, wow, that's insane. And what you could do is you could even take those voice messages that people send you, and then you can decide to like make it live and share it with everybody and make it part of your next episode. How cool is that? But now look at this, right? So for you to build your episode, right? So here's your episode right here, right? So right now it's empty. Now over here, check this out. You can browse all the audio you've created or uploaded to Anchor. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm correct, what you can do is if you're on your iPhone, you can use any song that's in your music library as your music, as your song. But if I come over here to record, right, all you got to do is record a new recording. So I can do new recording, right, and I can record a new segment. So I could say, so look, check this out. Send the recording link to your phone. So you can do this right from your phone, all right? But I can record a new segment, right? I'll say allow microphone. Yep, use the USB. And then I'm going to do stop recording, all right? So I can say, hey, what's going on, guys? It's Kevin DeSola with, VIP, the Viralizer Insiders Podcast. In this episode, we're going to be talking about, right? Stop recording. Now, it's December 30th, 2018, so that's my episode. So as that's going, I can grab this and drag it right into my episode. Boom. Now it says, do you want to activate sponsorships, right? So I'm not going to do that now. We'll cover that in another episode, but that's really cool. Now, messages, right? So remember those 2 people I told you about? Boom, right? That was the first time I had tried it. And look, those are the 2 people I told you about, right? How cool is that? Transitions. So you can listen to these transitions, right? So now let's say I wanted to use that as a transition. All I got to do is click the plus sign and boom, now it's there. So now you would have my intro. I can have it go to this music, right? I can have it go to this music, and then I could put in I can record my next segment, and then boom, drag that in. If you have other podcast episodes, right? So my library, here's other episodes that I've uploaded, right? I can grab episode 3 and put it there, or I can grab some other segment. Let's say you recorded a segment. Let's say you record a commercial, right? Let's say you record a commercial for your podcast service, right? I mean, or for your, whatever. Maybe you have a membership site. Maybe you have a sponsor, whatever it is. If you record a commercial, like a 30-second spot, all you got to do is record it once and then have it in here and in your library, right? And then what you could do is you can record a segment and then say, all right, guys, we're going to take a little break while you listen to a quick word from our sponsor. And then boom, you just stop recording. That's a segment. Drag it over here. Then you find that 30-second spot you recorded, right, where it's you saying, hey, guys, go check out this sponsor, whatever. You could just drag that in. Now, personally, my advice is if you're going to have a sponsor and do that, I say pre-record the commercial and then just do what I just said. Hey, guys, I'm going to take a quick break while you guys listen to a quick word from our sponsor, who without their support, this wouldn't be possible. And then let it cut to a 30-second pre-recorded commercial. I can't tell you how just, much it turns me off when I'm listening to a podcast or I'm watching a podcast, which is even worse. I'll be watching a podcast and it'll be like an interview between two people and it'll be getting like really heavy, like you're really into it. And then they'll just like stop. And the person that's like, it's their podcast will turn and look at the camera and be like, hey, do you need home security? And just like go into like, salesperson mode. And it's like, what the fuck? What is going on right now? And it just seems so not genuine. You know me, I'm all about being genuine. That's just so not genuine. I just, that's not for me. But this is what you do to record your episode. And it's that simple. Once your episodes are recorded, right? So right here, you can come here.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
And you can actually grab these. You can grab this embed code, right? And you could just embed it onto your website, and it'll embed into your website. Or you can grab this right here, this link to this episode. You can grab it, and you can use it with other plugins. There's plugins now that they have that work with Anchor, right? For WordPress. But I believe that this is the way to go. It's so much easier to get your episodes onto iTunes, onto all these different networks. It's so much easier for you to record. You don't have to go mess with any softwares or anything. It's great if you want to start making money. I mean, look, you can just make money by telling people about your podcast. And right here, tips for increasing revenue. Ask your listeners to support you. Ask your audience for their support. Remember what I was telling you about earlier? You can explain how their support helps you keep making your podcast. Activate sponsorships in all episodes. The amount you can make from sponsorships is calculated across all your episodes. So the more sponsorship segments you have active in your back catalog, the better. When possible, use mid-roll ads. Hire CPM sponsors. Ones who are willing to pay are only available if you're at least if you have at least one sponsorship segment in the middle of your episode. So right here, you haven't activated listener support. So you can activate listener support, and then you could do monetization, right? So you could monetize by advertising. Now,